At 12 o'clock this afternoon, just before the first service started, I was standing back at that door as a mother and two small children entered in. Little girl about 6 years old, as soon as the door opened, she looked through and she squealed with joy and said, "Mommy, I see the cross." And I thought, that's really all we're about today. We want you to see the cross. We want you to see the cross through the 7 words that Jesus spoke. One of those phrases, one of those statements, words of Jesus is, "It is finished." And when he said that, it was not a word of resignation. It certainly was not a word of defeat. It was a cry of victory and of accomplishment. Matter of fact, in Matthew's gospel, in Matthew 27 and verse 50, in Mark's gospel, parallel in Mark 15:37, we read, it was a loud shout that he said this. It was a cry of victory. The very word that Jesus spoke here was found in pieces of pottery by archaeologists all over Marketplace that were found in the ancient cities of the Mediterranean. The very word that Jesus spoke, written on pieces of broken pottery where they would write out a receipt of items that had been purchased and the price. And then they would write across that the word tetelestai, which means it is finished, it is paid in full. That's the word that Jesus spoke from the cross. He's saying that the payment for sin is now complete. It has been paid in full. This word that he used speaks in the tense of the verb of something that's been accomplished, is now complete, and will be complete forever. It is finished, it is totally finished, and it's complete, and it is paid in full forever. It is finished. Also was a term that a servant used when he accomplished a mission that his master had given him to accomplish. When the servant returned to the master, he would say, "Tetelestai, it is finished. I've accomplished the work." And all through this same gospel, the Gospel of John, Jesus, even when he was there with the woman at the well and the disciples come back and offer him something to eat, he said, "I have meat to eat, I have food to eat that you don't understand. It is to finish the work that the Father has given me to do." And all through the Gospel of John, he keeps emphasizing that he is there to do the will of the Father. He was the servant of Jehovah. He was the one who was submitted to the Father's will. And just before he goes out to Gethsemane, he prays. In John 17, he says, "Father, I have finished the work that you've given me to do." You see, Jesus was the ultimate servant of the Father as Messiah. He did the Father's will, and now on the cross he said, "Father, it is finished. I have finished my mission, the mission of providing for salvation." The Son of Man who came to seek and to save that which is lost. His very name means Jesus, the one who is the Savior of Jehovah. He had finished the work. He had paid it in full. He had done all that the Father had called him to do. It meant that all of the Old Testament prophecies had now been fulfilled, and that all of the millions of sacrifices that had been offered, every lamb, every goat, every bullock that had been offered for all of those hundreds of years are now completely fulfilled in his sacrifice. The once-for-all offering of his shed blood. That there would be no longer a need for the Levitical sacrificial system because Jesus paid it all, and all to him we owe. When he said it is finished, he's saying the ultimate final fulfillment is there. It is finished. It stands finished. It will always be finished. My friends, this is what that means. Death and Satan's kingdom would be defeated. The outcome of God's redemptive plan for mankind and creation is certain. That Christ had provided redemption for sinners to be saved, creation restored, the kingdom would come to earth, the new heaven and the new earth would complete the work of restoration, all because of what he did on the cross when he said, "It is finished." It means that the debt for our sin was forgiven, that the bondage of our slavery is broken and we are redeemed, that the separation from a holy God is now reconciled in the death of Jesus, that the condemnation that we faced is removed and we are justified by faith in him, that the wrath that we deserved was poured out on Christ and is fully satisfied by his atonement. It is finished. My friends, that's why salvation will always and only be by grace and mercy and love through Jesus, because you can't add anything to what's finished. Your good works can never supply, because there's nothing lacking. It is finished. That his grace was enough and his love was enough and his mercy was enough and the cross was enough to satisfy God and to satisfy the needs that you had. And so we come in his grace and his mercy, and we come rejoicing that the one who died for us on the cross could say, "It is finished."